Weißt du, wo ich gesessen habe beim letzten Spiel?
Historie.
Da war die Haupttribüne. Und da habe ich Oberrang gesessen bei dem letzten Spiel. Ich werde es nie vergessen.
Ich weiß noch gut, dass wir bei das letzte Pfiff von der Schiedsrichter sind wir von Platz gelaufen und ja, wir sind Meister, wir sind Meister.
Du hast die Jungs gesehen, wie sie sich im Arm gelegen haben und dann guckst du zu der Leinwand rüber und sagst, das stimmt doch was nicht. Ist das eine Wiederholung? Was passiert jetzt da?
In 2001, I'd actually just joined Schalke, or come to Gelsenkirchen. The team was competing for the title at the time.
Die deutsche Meisterschaft gespielt.
The situation on the last match day was that if Schalke won and Bayern lost, Schalke would be champions.
Ich habe mich konzentriert auf unser Spiel.
I concentrated on our game. You can't influence what others are doing. You're dependent on others.
Von anderen.
I actually thought it was a done deal and we were runners-up. So for me, the title wasn't really a thing. It was only when we were leading 5-3 that you knew, OK, back then everyone still had their little radios with them, but Hamburg were 1-0 up.
Barbares! Oh, incredible! Hamburger in front!
Are we now champions?
At some point, the final whistle blows. You run over to each other and we're told we're champions.
Dann bin ich nach oben gegangen.
Then I went upstairs to the coach's dressing room, where Juri Mulder was sitting with a couple of players.
Andere Spieler.
I was one of the last to enter the dressing room. We were told to come in as the fans were coming. I came in with a beer and asked, why is it so quiet here?
I remember looking to my right and seeing the big screen where it was being shown. I said, something's not right. They wouldn't be showing pictures from Hamburg if the game wasn't still going on.
It's going to be an indirect free kick. What drama right at the death. This could be title deciding for Bayern. Anderson, that's the moment. Bayern seal the Meisterschale.
All of a sudden, everything went quiet. It really was like when a loved one has died.
And I thought, this can't be true. It can't be, because I think we're champions.
Ich weiß noch, dass Juri.
I remember Juri kicking the door. Everyone was disappointed, me included.
Ja, und ich auch.
I was young, but I've never seen so many men crying. It was crazy. What happened in that dressing room was crazy.
It was one of those moments that I don't think you can experience anything worse in football.
We didn't feel like going out, but the coach said you have to. The fans are waiting for you.
Ja, und dann haben wir die Fans gesehen.
Then we saw the fans down there and how they were suffering and how they were battling with the disappointment. We were too.
Auch, ja.
They're the ones we'd have loved to do it for.
Getan.
It didn't make it any easier because they felt the same way as you. They were just as devastated. You don't have to be ashamed of shedding a tear there.
Of course, it's painful. And when the fans sing your name, that's great. But it also affects you as a person. It definitely leads to a few tears.
We all know those images of Hub Stevens and everyone up in the stands. Even if you weren't a Schalke fan back then, it moved a lot of people.
Hat das einfach sehr viele Menschen ergriffen.
That's why you play football, right? No matter what league you play in, whether it's a local league or the Bundesliga, you want to be at the top. And sometimes the trophy is actually within touching distance, and then someone comes along and snatches it away from you. That's the way it goes. It's not nice. I'm not going to watch it again for many years unless someone decides to show me a highlights reel again, but no, I don't need to.
When you look at the history of football and then also the history of the Ruhr district, you don't just see the rivalry, but also the love for football. It's often compared with religion. Football is a central aspect of life here in the Ruhr.
Ja, vor Corona war ich das letzte Mal hier oder oben. Ihr werdet euch wundern, wie grün Dortmund ist.
This area is obviously a very important place in my life because I was born here. My siblings were born here. I spent my childhood here, studied here. My wife comes from the area. My children were born in Dortmund. I would say this is my home.
Schönen guten Morgen. Ja, macht nichts.
I'm Edin Terzic, football coach.
Ja, dann kommt man jetzt hier hoch.
Then you come up here, and the first thing you see when you come through the door is, of course, the impressive stadium. It's a very special place in my life. I associate many great experiences with it. My first visit was on the 23rd of November, 1991. It was my dad's birthday. He took me and my brother to a derby against Duisburg.
Zum kleinen Revierderby gegen den MSV Duisburg.
I'll never forget it. The atmosphere, the noise, the euphoria after the goals. The cheer after the final whistle. Then at the end of the 90s, we got our first season tickets in the family. And they obviously weren't the best seats because back then you couldn't just get hold of season tickets. So we tried to swap them from time to time. And every now and then, I hope I don't get arrested after the recording, but we tried to sneak in and wangle a place in the south stands. Our parents weren't supposed to know about it. And yeah, when you experience the whole thing, it's so impressive.
What a moment for Edin Terzic. He's a product of this club, and being coach of it is a dream come true. As a 9-year-old, he went to the Westfalenstadion.
Ich bin dann in die Rolle des Cheftrainers.
I ended up getting the role of head coach during the pandemic. To be honest, you don't really have much time to take it all in. For me, all that was important is making the most of the opportunity to prepare the players to win the next game.
Die Mannschaft bestmöglich vorzubereiten, das nächste Spiel zu gewinnen.
And there's the opener for Borussia Dortmund. The Edin Terzic era gets off to the perfect start. It's a hard-fought victory on Edin Terzic's debut as interim coach.
Dann gab es eine kurze Winterpause.
There was then a short winter break of, I don't know, 7 or 8 days. That's when it all started to sink in. But then the first thing was obviously to focus on everything. How can I help this team, both in terms of tactics and emotions, to still achieve its goals? And the most important goal that season was to qualify for the Champions League. To still do that, we had a few points to make up and a few things to put right. Thankfully, we did it.
Jadon Sancho!
Erling Haaland! And now they have a golden ticket back to the Champions League.
Das Ganze endete dann
It ended with a real highlight, winning the DFB Pokal.
That's it! Dortmund have won the DFB Cup 2021. This is a moment that Edin Terzic will live over and over again.
dann das Ganze.
It was amazing to experience the whole thing on the sidelines, on the podium, then in the dressing room, then the press conference with a beer shower.
In der PK mit Bierdusche. Das ging dann so
It
schnell,
all happened so
dass man das gar
fast.
nicht wahrnehmen. Und dann
And then you think to yourself, last time you were here as a fan, now you're standing on the touchline as head coach. These are moments you don't forget. It really stuck with me.
sehr, sehr einprägend für mich.
Die Scheiße ist, wenn du absteigst, du kommst da so schwer da wieder raus.
Ja, das
Du
stimmt.
siehst das durch die ganzen Traditionsvereine.
Ja, aber jetzt hast du doch eine Chance.
Ja, klar haben wir die Chance noch.
Ja.
Das schaffen wir auch noch.
Dank Hacking.
Wollte ich gerade sagen.
Absolut.
Wenn der nicht gekommen wäre.
Ja. Als ich die Radio...
When I heard on the radio who was going to be the new coach at Bochum, I was driving home, and then Dieter Hacking's name came up.
kam Dieter Hacking als Name.
And I sat in the car and thought, that's cool. He's the kind of guy who, just like Bochum, combines the old football values with modern football. He's at a certain age where he has experience. He's won titles. It's crazy that they've brought in a coach like him.
Krass, dass man so einen Trainer holt. Trainer.
Schon gehört.
Grüß dich.
Jetzt die Ansage machen wir im Training.
Nee, heute nicht.
Heute nicht?
Wir haben gegeneinander gespielt.
Wo?
Hast du TuS Paderborn Neuss?
Haben wir gewonnen, oder?
Nee.
Wie nee?
Ich war in Erkenschwick. Hinspiel 2-2, Rückspiel 0-0. Im zweiten Spiel habe ich auch direkt gegen dich gespielt. Ja, das stimmt.
Bochum are always sort of laughed at compared to Schalke and Dortmund as the little neighbours. But the way it keeps holding its own against such big competition, I think that's something that really sets this club apart. When you go out onto the street, VfL Bochum polarizes opinion. It's a topic of discussion in the city. Everyone speaks to you about it. Young or old, everyone roots for the club. And that's exactly what characterizes the Ruhr district. When you've decided on something that's close to your heart, you stick with it through thick and thin. The Ruhr district is obviously a bit of home for me. I was born in Castrop-Rauxel, spent my youth in Soest, but played many games in the region.
Und dann Hacking zur 1:0-Führung.
I never worked in the Ruhr district, either as a player or a coach, even though I always wanted to. Now I've got this situation at Bochum, which is obviously challenging.
Dieter Hacking in his first game as Bochum boss. Bochum haven't won a single game in the league. No team in Bundesliga history has ever had this bad a record after 9 match days.
It was certainly a decisive factor, finally working in the Ruhr district, experiencing what I always felt in the past.
It's a massive goal and a great start for Bochum.
Felt like a Bochum team today.
They win a true relegation battle in the Bundesliga.
Bochum come back in an almost impossible fashion.
A rumble in the Ruhr.
Sportliche Situation ist
The
natürlich...
sporting side of things is obviously tense, but there's hope. The boys are showing a completely different side to what we saw at the start of the season. Under Dieter Hacking, we're all confident again that we can stay up.
Klassenerhalt schaffen können.
Dieter Hacking with another broad smile.
I'm just one piece of the puzzle, who obviously has to perform and give the team the feeling that we can resolve all this. I'm a source of hope, and I believe that we as a group can be a source of hope. It's not one person, because one person isn't going to solve it on their own. I need the fans, who I hope will support as passionately as they've always done. So this symbiosis is there. I think this unity is extremely good.
A special day in Munich as FC Bayern celebrate the club's 125th anniversary with a fitting opponent, VfL Bochum, with whose fans Bayern share a close bond, a 52-year fan Freundschaft. That's a great ball for Gnabry, and the shot, and the goal! And there, a second goal, Guerrero again!
We knew it would be difficult, even though Bayern rotated a lot. They obviously still have a lot of quality, which we saw in the first half hour.
Red cards come out here meanwhile. João Paulinho, he's been sent off. Held on by Sissoko. Muller's there, but so too is Jakub Medic. And Bochum have a goal back. Sissoko's header! And Bochum are level. Hoffmann in. Oh, it's Bello! Unbelievable! And Bochum, who were down and out, have come back to lead.
That's our job. We have to give our maximum in every game. If we don't, it won't work. If we do it as often as possible, we have a chance of staying up.
Momentous! No one saw this coming. Bochum have beaten the birthday boys, Bayern, the league leaders, by 3-2. And this one for Dieter Hecking is a famous, famous result.
He's really turned us into a team that's capable of getting something against anyone.
It's a good foundation for this difficult mission. The fact it's always brought back to individuals, that's just how the business works. But I always see myself as part of the bigger picture, and I think that's the most important thing. If I saw myself as being important, other things would fall by the wayside and there'd be no chance of staying up.
You can see the centre of Dortmund from this side. That's important in my life as well. It was the first time I moved out of my parents' house and into my first flat. That was in the Nordstadt area of Dortmund. I think what makes Dortmund special is whether you're walking through the city centre or in the school playground. The backpacks have the Borussia logo. The flags in gardens have the logo. People go out wearing shirts because they identify completely with the club. And that's the main reason why they support the club so much. But of course it hurts when things aren't going well. I'll never forget that day, and I don't want to. It's part of our history, part of my history.
I remember it was actually all too perfect. The weather was beautiful at the end of May, but it felt like mid-July.
I don't know how many people it was. 400,000 to 500,000 people. It was chaos. Everyone was wearing yellow.
So I put on a cap, sunglasses. I just went into town to soak up the atmosphere.
I was already out and about with my guys at 8 a.m. We made our way through Dortmund. There were people camping outside the pub so they could get in.
Then I got to the stadium. I was commentating for the Bundesliga, and I remember I came into the stadium and stood by the side of the pitch and looked towards the south stand and thought to myself, this is really amazing.
I've never heard the stadium so loud for a warm-up.
It was really so loud. The atmosphere was... you can't describe it. It still gives me goosebumps.
The final day of an unforgettable Bundesliga season. Borussia Dortmund will never have a better chance to lift the Meisterschale than today. I'm Dan O'Hagan, joined by a man who's not only won the T-shirt, he's got the medals as well. Patrick Moyela. Patrick, how are your emotions on a day like today?
Hi, Dan. I'm actually quite nervous and excited, but this is a great chance, of course, and this would mean so much for anybody in that region. So I'm really hoping it's going to work out today.
The situation was, if we won, we'd be champions.
At home to Mainz, who had nothing to play for. That's what we faced.
Or if Bayern draw at Köln or lose, we're also champions.
It had gone back and forth. We were behind again. We were ahead again. It's out of our hands. It's back in our hands. And then we were playing Mainz at home. It was all set up. What could possibly go wrong?
Die Schwarz-Gelben in charge in the box seat. They hold all the cards. Win and they are champions, all just matched Bayern's results. And the anguish of 11 years is over. And for the 6th time, they will be champions.
Alles, was wir wollten, war
all we wanted was to show our quality just one more time.
One more game, a title race for the ages. The last match day underway.
Alles war angerichtet.
It was all set up, and all of a sudden we were 2-0 down.
2-0 zurück.
And that was flicked on, and Mainz scored the first goal. And Lee's cross, Onisibo's there! And this is unbelievable.
I had the live scores open. When you're commentating, you can't get too emotional or distracted. But I had the live scores open and could see on the screens in front of me that Köln had equalised.
It's a
goal for Köln, but it feels like a goal for Dortmund.
And that was 10 minutes before the end. And I thought to myself, okay, this is impossible. Now Bayern are messing things up even worse than we are.
Obviously, we were cheering and hoped again. We then made it 2-1 at some point.
Reina once more. Guerrero!
Ich war unten am Rand. I was down pitch side, thinking about what I'd say. We've done it again. We're champions again. And then I hear the terrible news in my ear that Bayern have scored.
Bayern try again. Gnabry. Musiala! Have we just witnessed a big moment?
It was then the 93rd minute or something, and it was tough. We had to score 2 goals. We then made it 2-2.
Zula shots! Oh, they need one more goal now, but is there time for it?
Unfortunately, the full-time whistle came 30 seconds later.
Heartbreak, heartbreak at the death for Dortmund.
People were shocked. There were lots of tears.
For me, it was like our world had collapsed. Just awful.
There's emptiness, there's sadness. You can't think straight. You can't believe what's happened.
We've talked about what football means to this area and what it means to the people here. And then to see the people on their way to the stadium, to see this beautiful day and to see it all slip away, it was an incredible feeling of loss.
It was just impossible to describe.
I think it was one of the worst days in the history of Borussia Dortmund.
It should never have happened, period.
And then the team came over and you could see the sense of togetherness. The stadium picked itself up and it got really loud again. Everyone sang for the team, for the club, for the city.
It's so painful when you're so close.
This hurts. This really, really hurts. But Dortmund here condemned to 2nd place.
Let's stop filming. It's something I've watched back a lot, because in my opinion, it shows how extraordinary this club is. That was the hardest moment you can imagine, as a team, as a fan, or even as a coach. Getting that support at that moment just shows how amazing this club and the Dortmund fans are. It's something I'll never forget, something I really appreciate, something I'll always be grateful for. That's what life's all about, trying to take the positives out of these moments, no matter how difficult and how painful they are, and then just looking ahead.
2004, crazy. The greatest thing I've ever experienced.
Amazing. Got to thank Kloppo. A story for the ages.